Bellevue, Washington, where she apparently still lives to this day.
Yeah, she's apparently a quiet member of a local church and just lives her life.
Yeah, quiet member of a Catholic church. Catholic Church claimed on their website in 2011 that Ursula had received the rites of scrutiny that supposedly delivered her from, quote, emptiness, illusions, and death-prone effects of evil.
All right, well, it's interesting she did end up at a Bellevue. I was thinking it was more the hospital, but okay.
What are the rites of scrutiny?
I don't know. I tried to look up the rights of scrutiny, but I couldn't find what the rights of scrutiny are. Because there are many people. Well, one of the dumber theories about this is that the Erickson sisters were possessed by demons.
That is very common in Philadelphia. And most of the other smaller cases that I was reading about in the various blurbs, the psychiatry article blurbs I was reading, is that it's often a religious phenomenon more often than not. So, who knows?
Now, Sabina's trial was, to say the least, odd. Even though she was still saying no comment to every question asked, she pled guilty to manslaughter by reason of diminished responsibility. She admitted that she stabbed Glenn 5 times, but couldn't provide a reason why. And interestingly, both the prosecution and the defense argued the same thing, that Sabina was insane at the time of the killing, but sane at the time of the trial.
Hey, but it's good to get sane at some point, you know?
Yeah, indeed.
However, while they agreed on this view, they disagreed somewhat on the prognosis. The defense argued for folie deux. Folie deux. One more. Folie deux.
The more you do it, the worse it's becoming, actually. It's really bizarre.
Yeah, before any of you fucking people start ripping me apart, I practiced.
We're Ben and Henry. We are Ben and Henry.
We are with you. We're with you because I hear it's the all the time. But what are you going to do? All right? We're not Frenchies.
No, the French, great people.
Yeah. Well, the defense said that there had been a psychological blurring between Ursula, the primary, and Sabina, the secondary, which diminished her responsibility.
But they spent that whole time apart.
Yeah.
Right.
The prosecution, but they said it was residual. The murder had happened. She was still in the throes of the madness for 2 when she killed Glenn Hollinshead.
She was in reruns by the time she was out stabbing Glenn.
She was in syndication, yes.
Yeah. The prosecution, on the other hand, argued another French term. They said it was buffet de la rente.
Yeah, this bouffe de la rente. It's like, that's fucking, these French criminologists come up with really fun, like, unique ways, because it sounds like a pastry, but it's about murder.
It does sound like even the English translation sounds like a pastry. A puff of madness.
Whoa!
I wish that would be that'd be a good challenge in Great British Bake Off where you could go and you make a puff of madness, and sometimes it has berries in it, and sometimes it has, is this a bullet?
Whoa, that's the madness.
It's a puff of madness.
Woo! Very difficult.
On this, a person with no previous mental issues has a psychological break that lasts for a couple of weeks, but the person is not a long-term sufferer of mental illness, hence a puff of madness.
You guys save both of these things. These are important for the three of us. Right? Is that these are terms that we need to remember and hold in our minds and save for a very opportune time when we are going to need to say, it was just a puff of madness.
It was a puff of madness.
Very quickly. If we can get 2 weeks of crazy, I'll take it.
Absolutely.
Sorry, we can't do it. All 3 of us have been diagnosed with actual mental illness, so therefore we cannot be sufferers of puffs of madness. We can only be sufferers of our existing mental illnesses.
And I don't believe that any of us are mentally ill. I think society has changed in a way that's not conducive with how humans should be.
You mean that
we just simply have to fit into a mold that we should not be in.
Maybe
That's
insanity.
not true.
Well, yes, absolutely. Computers, we're not supposed to sit at computers our entire life. That's not, you don't have ADD. You're not supposed to be there.
No, you're saying, well, technically, if you're according to that logic, we're supposed to like die in war when we're 18.
Yes.
Also, my grandmother had no access to computers, and yet bipolar disorder was still very much a problem.
Day and night. Good and bad.
Well, in other words, it seems like the prosecution and the defense were pretty much just arguing the same thing. So the court accepted the plea. In sentencing, the judge said that while he knew a light sentence would do nothing for the suffering of Glenn Hollingshead's family, a heavy sentence wouldn't accomplish much either. So Sabina Erickson was sentenced to 5 years in prison, served 2, and was released in 2011. It is believed that she is reunited with her husband and children and now lives in Norway.
Nice.
Again, this is where we need to have a little bit of middle ground, because I do think a longer sentence might have helped when it comes to like society and making sure no one else was stabbed.
But hey,
No,
Kissel,
it wouldn't prevent anything.
You
No.
don't think so?
I mean,
I
unless
don't
we
think she's
just
going to
get-
have another psychological break, and we're going to be covering this in 15 years when we're still doing this show.
No way.
So are you saying she needs to be put away in a mental hospital for the rest of her life?
I think she probably could have